Hi, and welcome to part 3 of our tutorial on how to become a Unity game developer. In this lesson, we're going to be going over level design fundamentals, right? So the fundamentals of making like awesome levels that have like good like terrain and ray traces and all stuff like that. And basically the only real thing we need in our game that we absolutely must have is like awesome levels, because if you have awesome levels, then you can have like a wicked trailer with like good load times, and your game can be successful in the marketplace. And that's basically what marketing is. So we're going to talk about like making interior and exterior environments. Now, I didn't want to get into too much mathematical type stuff here, but what you have to keep in mind is that like in the first rule of geometry is that everything is a wall. So everything is a wall. So obviously walls are walls, but like a floor is also a wall, right? And you just don't know how far down it goes, right? It could be like as thin as you see it, but it also could be much thicker beneath you. So you also don't really know how thick walls are, but for some reason we assume walls have a certain thickness. It's an odd thing if you think about it, but I guess nobody knows. But of course, also another big thing that is made out of walls is our ceilings. So ceilings are also made out of walls, and you can like there's different types of shapes, but all you really need is the cube, because you can use a cube to make a pretty good rectangle, which is like basically what the shape of a wall is. So I'm sorry, that was really overwhelming. It was like a lot of like weird math type stuff, but that's what you need to know. Now, what you call these shapes here are called primitives. So primitive is like the texture pack that comes pre-installed with Unity. Um, and that's why it looks kind of like stone. It's very stone looking. So it's not bad, but you can also get like futuristic packs and like medieval packs. And I don't know if there's anything else exists, but you can get those other two on the Unity Asset Store. But for now, we'll just work with primitives, and we'll just give our game can have kind of like a caveman, kind of like Far Cry Primal type of vibe, which is a wicked game. So good. Um, so yeah, so basically, as you can see there, we've built an interior environment. Now, what's an exterior environment? Okay, well, again, not to get like crazy into math or anything like that, but like if you think about it, the outside is just a really big inside. So we're to make our exterior environment, we're just going to make a huge, like kind of like thing like that. Okay, and we just need to make sure that it's big enough that if you're the player, you can see fully out to it. So like that's basically making it big enough is what artists would call like the event horizon, because it's the point beyond which you can't see any more events. So that's basically that. So now that we have our interior environment fully built and our exterior environment fully built as well, how do we differentiate them? Well, now we're going to get into something in Unity that's called shaders, or in Unity, it's the same thing. Basically, it's called materials, but materials and shaders are the same thing. So we're going to go to our thing here, and we're going to create a new material. We have to actually create two new materials. We're just going to call one inside. Whoops, sorry, caps lock. Inside, and the other material is going to be called outside. And then we're going to have to assign these to our objects. Now you'll see when we go to the cube, we go back to the inspector here, it's already got a default material on it, and Unity doesn't let you change these defaults. And that's one of the things that's about Unity that's like a black box. You can't change it. They call it black box because like if there was no sun here, like this would just be a black box. It would just, everything would look like a black box. So we're going to go, we're on our outside. So we're going to change it. We're going to assign our outside shader to our big event horizon here. And we're going to go down. And here is where we can like mess with, change like the colors and the metallicness. So like the sky is not metallic, so we don't need anything like that. And there's like emissions and stuff like that. But what we think we can change here is albedo, right? So this is another primitive thing. It's kind of like Adobe. And we can make it like a light blue like the sky is. Now that term might not have a lot of relevance to the exterior. It kind of makes more sense when you think about our interior ones, and we're going to change that as well. Wait, is this, okay, we're on the different cube now. So this is going to become like our inside cube. And albedo, like I said, is like Adobe. So we're going to make this like a nice reddish hue, like a proper albedo kind of look. And so there we go, like that. And now we have to this is really annoying, but you have to actually make all of your interior cubes give it the same thing. But you'll see it picks up the texture really easily, and inside. And you'll notice like this takes a long time, right, to get all this stuff looking great the way we've got it. And you're thinking, oh, it's a lot of work and it's really cumbersome. Like, do you have any tips you could share? Like, well, I mean, here's a tip. Learn how to manage your time better, because this is the work that you're going to have to put in. And this is what you got to do if you want to get it done and you want to be a Unity game developer. So we got to make sure that we have all of our stuff here. Did I get the floor? We have to go under here and make sure we get the floor. Okay, the floor, I don't know how we did that, but we got it done somehow. Anyway, so now everything is good. So here we are. We have our interior environment that we can go inside. And beyond it, of course, is this exterior environment as well. I guess one thing that you could do if you really wanted to make it really easy is, I mean, you could delete all of your walls and your ceiling, and then you would just have to do just the floor. But this would lock you into making a platformer. So unless you're 100% sure that that's what you want to do, and of course, obviously, you're not going to decide on the kind of game you want to make before you design an awesome level, I wouldn't do that. So wait, hold on. Did I undo? Get the last? Okay, last wall's back. Okay, we're good. So basically, yeah. So we're now basically done designing our level. There's nothing else we need to do. We've assigned our shaders and our materials. The only thing that remains is that, you know, if you were the player, of course, you wouldn't see the level like this. This would be an outside view. We've got to make sure the player's perspective is inside the interior environment. So basically, they're going to see what we see in this camera here. We have this extra camera, but this is just a backup. So we're going to get rid of that. And now we're going to fly into our interior environment. And there we go. We're inside the first room that the game is going to be in, and it's looking good. It's looking very Adobe, very nice, primitive kind of rock feel. And one thing you'll notice is that basically where we're at now, the game already looks like the original Doom. So in like 3 lessons, we have managed to get ourselves to this position where we've already recreated one of the greatest classics of all time. And in our next lesson, we're going to be building our player controller, you know, like this little guy here, so the player can play the game their way and tell the story that they want to tell, just like in Doom.